and on the free Odyssey app.
This program is paid for by Investor Schooling. All opinions or statements expressed on the program are solely those of Investor Schooling or their guests and do not reflect the opinions of WPHT or Odyssey.
WPHT, WPHT-HD, WOGL HD3 Philadelphia. From the Cherry Hill Volvo Studios, where relationships matter. Always live on the free Odyssey app. This is Investor Schooling Live with your host, Larry Steinhouse, CEO of Investor Schooling.
All right, good morning and welcome to Investor Schooling Live. Hey, Investor Schooling Live is transmitting from the Investor Schooling Studios right here in Investor Schooling headquarters. I am Larry Steinhouse and I am the CEO of Investor Schooling. Thanks for listening and get ready to learn real estate investing, stock options trading, and so many more things about money that I bet you never knew. Hey, you can call us anytime during the show with your questions. You can call us at 855-939-1137. That's 855-939-1137. Hey, that's right. If you're listening and it's Saturday morning, we are live. We're a live program, and you can call anytime during the show. And if you're listening and it's not live or it's a repeat of the show, you can still call 855-939-1137, and I will take your call personally. 855-939-1137. Hey, don't worry about what we're talking about. We'll take your calls about anything that has to do with money, finances, politics, real estate, anything. Hey, we're also live on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, and Twitter. And if you're watching on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, or YouTube, please say hi. It's the only way I know you're watching. At Investor Schooling, we teach real estate investing, stock options trading. We teach you how to save money and taxes, how to be financially free, and we even give you the motivation to make money work for you instead of you working for money. Investor Schooling is located in Bucks County, Pennsylvania, right off the Newtown Bypass, serving the New Jersey and greater Philadelphia areas in a real brick-and-mortar building. And our students are also located in several states, even California. With our exclusive web access to our classes and seminars, get ready to learn something new. Get ready to learn the business of entrepreneurship, real estate investing, stock options trading from your neighborhood, your friendly neighborhood financial expert. And hey, that's me, Larry Steinhouse. And guess who I have with me today? I have my favorite guest. I have Dr. Deb with us.
Hi, everybody. How you doing?
And Dr. Deb is, you know what, Dr. Deb, so I tell people all the time, Dr. Deb is the smartest person I know. You don't agree with that, do you?
No, I never understand why you do that. It kind of, I don't know. I just think it's weird that you do that. So.
Well, because you are the smartest person I know. I didn't say you were the richest person I know.
I'm not the richest person.
I said you were the smartest person I know.
All right.
That doesn't mean that, a lot of people out there that are a lot less smart than you aren't rich. I know I'm a lot less smart than you, and I'm richer than you.
But why am I smarter? Because for now, I'm going to surpass you, Larry. I really am.
I hope you do.
I will.
By the way, that's my goal. So Deb came to us as a student many years ago, and we helped her do a lot of things, and then she became part of the school, which is fantastic. But what she just said about surpassing me, that is my goal for every one of my students, is to surpass me. In fact, I got to keep up sometimes. I've got to keep growing my net worth so they don't surpass me easily.
Yeah, I'm always doing different things. And I'm always yelling at Larry to get more mentorships because I think it's really important. So.
Yeah, I mean, I pay a whole lot of I pay a whole lot of money in mentorships. It's January 21st, and I already signed up for about $50,000 worth of coaching programs already.
I know. Last year was an expensive year for me because I signed up for a bunch of different mentorships, but they've all been worth it. So
absolutely, it's interesting because people do that. They come to us. They'll come to us and they say, "Hey, we want you to mentor," and we tell them the price. And look, to some people it's expensive. To others, it's like, wow, that's cheap, right? And it's true. It really depends on the person. And when they come to us, and they always say they always say the same thing, man. This was so worth it. It usually takes about 4 to 6 months, and they're like, yeah, this is the greatest money I've ever spent, because they learn how to do all these things. I mean, what did we do? We did a survey of the students who show up.
Well, I was going to say, because usually what's really nice is that when people kind of walk in the door and it's their first time here, it's usually the students who go to them and start talking to them about the school. And then, at the end of the night, it's students who are talking to the people and saying what a great place our school is, which is really pretty cool. So it says a lot about our students and it says a lot about our school. So.
Oh, absolutely. And we have people all the time. I got a couple of people online who say hello to Joe and say hello to Carrie. But both of them are students. So, real quick, Joe or Carrie, actually, if either one of you want to call in, we'd love it. You can give us a call at 855-939-1137, 855-939-1137. So if either you guys want to come in or anybody else listening want to call about anything. But if you guys want to call and tell us your experience, I'd love to hear your experience. And call it 855-939-1137. 855-939-1137. Look, we got a whole bunch of people coming up online. That's awesome. 855-939-1137. Somebody give us a call and tell us how great it was. It's funny. Joe says online, he says it's the relationships that made our school great. So what exciting things have happened to you this week?
I've gotten some actually really good news and that like a lot of potential crazy opportunities in like the last 5 or 6 days. Like some weird stuff has been happening, like good weird stuff that's been happening. So some of you guys know that I do note investing, and I'm really excited about doing the note investing. And I have a friend out in California, and she kind of throws me notes here and there, and she's in the process of becoming a broker for Fannie Mae.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so she's in the process of doing that, and so this way she could throw me the tapes before she throws them to anybody else. Wow. And I'm like, wow, that's like a really big thing.
Shh, don't tell anybody. That might might not be legal.
Oh, well, oops. The other thing that she had mentioned to me.
Dr. Diane.
The other thing she mentioned to me. Hey, it's Glenn and John. You guys are so sweet. The other thing she mentioned to me was she had asked if I'd be willing to go into business with her, as both of us as managing partners. And awesome. Yeah, so that we can do notes together, and if we'd be interested in bringing in, certain investors, and not so much a fund, but I guess like a partnership. So I don't know the specifics. I'm going to see her in March, and we'll get a little bit more about the specifics of how she wants that to work. But just the thought that she even considered me, I thought was really cool. And she's a sweetheart. She's really nice. But she's been doing notes for quite a while, so it's really exciting.
So here's the deal: you got a whole bunch of people listening to you right now and
nobody knows what I'm talking about.
Exactly. So why don't you explain what note investing is? Because it's a fascinating way. We teach 17 different ways to invest in real estate, and one of them is
note investing.
There you go. So talk about that.
All right. So the best way to think about it is most people have, if you're living in a house that you own, because we just had that class the other day, that you actually own your house. You actually have a note against it, like you owe a debt against your house. So say your house is worth $100,000 and you got a loan from the bank for $100,000. Now, when you stop paying on your note, you go into default. Oh, look, I'm on this big screen and not. It's neat. Sorry, I get distracted over little things. It's kind of funny.
At the screen.
I know. I'm sorry.
So tell people about notes.
So what happens? So I kind of got trained in non-performing notes, which means that they're obviously not performing. So people who haven't paid their mortgage in 6 months, a year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, whatever it is. So when you get those kinds of notes, it's just like when you buy any kind of property, you make the money when you buy the note, not really so much when you sell the note. You have to make a good buy on that. So non-performing notes you can get them much, much cheaper than regular performing notes. So performing notes usually are like 90 to 95 cents on the dollar, sometimes even more. Their market's been really crazy lately. And I focus on first position. So they're the first position on the house, right? So and there's there's all different types of notes. You can get seconds, and you can get second non-performings or second whatever. There's a whole, you name it, you can get a note on something, just like you can get a note on your car. But with non-performing first, you can get them at a significant discount. So you can get them anywhere from, let's just say, 50 cents on the dollar. So if you let's
say somebody owed $100,000. They stopped paying on their loan about 2 years ago.
Right.
The bank says, you know what? We don't even want to bother with this.
Right.
We're just going to take $50,000 to anybody who gives it to us and give the problem to somebody else.
Pretty much.
Right.
Yeah.
And then you're one of the people who buys those notes.
Right.
And then you try to get them performing again.
Right. So the goal is to get them to reperform because, at the end of the day, you don't want to kick anybody out of their house. So the goal is to get them to reperform. It could be just that life happened. Somebody broke their leg and they went on disability and then they just got behind in payments and then the bank wasn't willing to work with them. So it could just be that something like that just happened. So usually you try to get those kinds of notes and work with somebody and get them to reperform.
So now you can do anything you want, but because you own the note, you can now renegotiate it. You can do a loan modification. You can do anything you want. But let's just say, for example, let's make it really simple. Let's just say, for example, that you get it performing to the exact way the note was originally written, which is, let's say it's 5% interest or whatever, and now they're paying you 5% interest on $100,000, not the $50,000 that you paid for.
Right.
So you're making a really nice profit.
Right.
And then if they ever sell a property and they have at least $100,000 equity in it, they have to pay you back the $100,000.
Right. Or the other option is that you usually do like a loan modification, and you give it a 6-month seasoning time to make sure that they're performing. And if they perform for 6 months, you can either sell that note at 90 or 95 cents on the dollar, or you can keep it and then and you reset the clock. So when you reset the clock, it's like 30 years usually for a mortgage. So you reset the clock 6 months after for whatever you agreed it to be on. So say you agreed it to be for $100,000 at $1,000 a month for 8% interest. So you now are getting all that interest for the next 30 years. And with a mortgage, 50% of the interest is pretty much for the first 15 years. You're paying mostly interest.
Right. It's
and
an awesome way to do business. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's awesome. That's all. And again, you can sell them. You wait for the people to sell the house. And then let's say we do have somebody on the phone. So hold on, Carrie. I just want to finish this conversation real quick. So Carrie, hold on there. But real quick. So what happens now? You've got somebody who has this note, and they decided, I don't care, Dr. Deb, Larry says you're the smartest person in the world, but you're still not going to get a payment from me. Now what do you do?
So you have a couple options. You can go through foreclosure, and say, all right, enough's enough. So there's a lot of research you have to do. There's a lot of due diligence, and it's just like tax deeds. That's why I think I really like the note investing, because it's like the next step up from tax deeds. Because all the research you do for tax deeds, you have to do for note investing, and it's just like one other piece of information that you have to find out. So I think that's why I really gravitated towards this. So it's really, so you do all the research, you make sure literally all your T's are crossed, all your I's are dotted, every period is there. You really have to make sure the chain is really complete to make sure that if you do have to go to foreclosure, everything is absolutely solid when you go to court for that. So
so really what you're trying to say is you really don't want to foreclose for a lot of reasons. Not only is it a pain for you, but you really don't want to throw people out of the house. And if their payment was $1,000 and they can afford $700,
right?
You'll take the $700. What do you care? You just bought the note for $50,000,
right? So you're always, when you go in, so there's a difference between the unpaid principal balance and the legal collectible balance. So the legal collectible is the unpaid principal balance. It's like what you actually owe on the loan, not including interest, and then you have all your fees on top of that, and that's where people actually make all their money, is on all those fees. So
and then you do that with partners too.
Yep.
Which is it's really a neat business. So I personally don't do that, but that's why you're here, because you're here to teach something that I don't teach, which is always awesome, because it's always great. We have different people. We have Bill, who comes here and talks about business. Bill is one of the student liaisons who comes here and talks about business. He's been on the air a few times. He just talks really slow.
Well, he's a meditative,
I know, he's
guy.
always meditating.
Yeah, he's, he meditates while he talks. I don't know how he does that. So
check this out. We got Carrie on the line. What's going on, Carrie?
Good morning.
Good morning. She's always so perky, isn't she?
She's always so perky.
I'm always so happy anymore.
So I love Carrie's story. Why don't you tell it yourself? I'm not even going to tell it for you. You tell it.
So obviously I was a very poor single mom. And once I joined the school, my son and I did it as a partnership. And, within 8 months, I had my first 2 houses. My son earned within the first 8 months $46,000 in stock options. And I wanted to thank you again, because Casey and I are about to settle on another house in about 60 days, but it will be my forever first home.
Oh,
that's awesome. That's awesome.
So Carrie never even owned a home in her entire life.
Yeah.
She's mid-age like we are. Actually, I think she's a little younger than we are, but not much. And
hey, speak for yourself there, Miss. Come on.
Oh yeah, that's right. I'm like 10 years older than you are, aren't I?
We're colleagues, but that's about it.
Sometimes I'm gonna be 60, right? And sometimes I forget that I'm gonna be 60. I remember being 60, like looking at people who were 60, going, "Those people are old."
I'm not saying you're old. I'm just saying don't include me in your little circle of age.
I get it. But it wasn't what happened to me was I forgot that I was going to be 60. That's what happened.
All right.
I thought I'm still 45.
There you go.
Parts of
you'll always be 45 to me, Larry.
Yeah, parts of my body aren't 45 anymore.
This is a PG show.
Not the ones you're thinking about. I'm talking about my hair.
this is a PG. Come on.
So anyway, Carrie never even owned a house. She now has, how many houses do you have that you rent out?
I have 2.
Okay, and then you have one that you're buying for your own, which is fantastic, and you've made lots of money. That's just so.
Yes.
You actually sold a house recently, and you made a whole bunch of money. I remember that story.
Yes, the trailer.
Right. Awesome.
So bought it for 15, sold it for 50.
There you go.
That's awesome.
That's not bad.
Awesome.
I Can anybody out there use an extra $35,000? Can you use an extra $35,000?
I could use some money for one of my rehabs.
Yeah, I could use
Oh,
extra
within a week.
$35,000.
You gonna loan me some money, Carrie?
Worth of work. What was that?
I said, you gonna loan me some money? You can loan me some money.
Of course. Of
I know,
course.
right? It's like funny, right? So
I
that's the other thing.
definitely
You know,
have to schedule some coaching, though.
there you go. We'll come see us. We'll coach you up. All right, Carrie. Thanks
Yep.
so much. We
I'll
totally
definitely do that.
appreciate you. Thanks so much, and we'll talk to you
Anytime. Thank you,
class soon.
guys.
Thank you. Bye bye. All right. So we've got. So look at it. You got more fans than I.
I
do.
know. It's awesome. I love
Everybody
it.
online is saying how great Deb is.
I know.
You know what? Here, the school's yours. I'm done. Welcome to Investor Schooling Live by Dr. Debbie Anderson. I'm done.
It's just because everybody loves me. I'm so
All right.
personable.
Well, you are. You really are. You're just a sweet person. That's the
Yeah.
problem.
See, I'm super friendly.
I'm not that sweet.
No. But we got to work on that. We got to work on that.
I don't know if I want. I don't know if I want to work on that. I like making sure people understand that some of the decisions they make are really, really bad, and they need to change those decisions. And sometimes they can't handle it.
All right. Well, I'm just saying that, well, I don't know. Whatever. So I was talking about it when I was on the show last time that I met that lady and she changed my life. And she was just like mean and obnoxious and everybody hated her. And I didn't want to be her in 20, because I was her in 20 years. She was like the cat lady with the 3 cats and nobody liked her. And I met her and I'm like, oh, I got to stop being such a bitch. So
All right. Well,
I thank her for that.
That's what changed. That's what happened to you.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
it's funny. I had just the opposite happen to me. I actually had someone who validated me being the way I am when I watched him present on stage. How he actually said, he actually said he's a insultant, so you could be a resultant. And I'm like, wait a minute, that's exactly what I think.
Insultant to
He's
be a
an
resultant.
insultant, so you could be a resultant. So he's,
No, I understand.
Yeah,
I've never heard that.
Yeah, so that's interesting. So it looks like Christopher's asking. He's saying, "Can you buy the note for less than out of the note?" She actually already answered that. Or must you pay off the original bank note and issue a new mortgage? So I think he totally misunderstands what note buying is.
Yeah, I think. But Chris, why don't you call in and I can explain it to you if you have any
Chris,
questions?
give us a call. Or anybody else
Yeah.
want to give us a call? 855-939-1137. 855-939-1137. 855-939-1137. 855-939-1137. One more time in case you're in the middle of dialing and forgot. 855-939-1137. So I have to talk to you about something else that's interesting that happened, right?
What's up?
So Joe says you're my mentor and an insultant. I
There
love
you
it.
go. Yeah.
I know. I insult you all the time, Joe.
It worked.
But you're cute, so it doesn't matter. He's not cute. Like, he's got that fuzzy beard thing going on, You got to see Joe.
Yeah. Well, what's his handle again? Like the
The Dutch handyman.
The Dutch handyman. I
Pennsylvania
think it's
Dutch
awesome.
handyman. This
Yeah,
guy, like,
it's
you talk
great.
about.
It's
By the
great.
way, that happened through a coaching appointment.
Oh yeah.
So Joe has. So if you ever look up Pennsylvania Dutch handyman, you will be blown away by the fact that Joe created this business, Pennsylvania Dutch handyman. He created it from coaching appointments with us, and now he's like super successful. In fact, it's scary because when he does my work, it's so expensive now because he's become such in demand that I got to pay him in order to pay him extra in order to.
Yeah, but you're paying for
get him
quality.
work.
Joe does good
Absolutely,
work.
great quality. Yeah.
So
He just did a house for me that I've never done a buy. So it's funny because you guys listen to me. I've been in this business for 42 years, and I've never done a fix and flip ever in my entire life. I always either sell them before I touch them, like I'll buy them and then just sell them right away, or I'll rent them. Most of the time, it's usually what I do is I usually rent them. So Joe does such a great job on this house. I couldn't rent it. It was so good I couldn't rent it. So
that's good.
I know you guys feel really sorry for me because I'm about to make $130,000 on this house, in 6 months, and all the money that I used was my money. I mean, it was none of my money. I'm sorry, it was none of my money. But I just thought you'd find it interesting. All right. Anyway, 855-939-1137. So Mike's calling. He wants to know what the number is. 855-939-1137. Boy, I don't know. He's got that number really confused there.
yeah, I think.
All right. So we got Chris on the phone. What's going on, Christopher? You there? Oh, did we lose him? I guess we might have lost him. All right. Whatever. I don't know.
Okay. All right. Well, whatever. Call back.
Yeah.
We're here. We're
I
not
know.
going
Yeah.
anywhere. So it's all good.
Hey, Henry, did we lose Christopher?
Yeah, I don't know where he went.
Oh, okay. That's
Okay.
fine.
Well,
That's fine. Hey, I just want to make sure that
you scared him
I wanna
off
make
with-
su- no, I actually wanted to make sure we didn't lose you, Henry, because if we're not transmitting.
Well, no, because I figured that insultant resultant, you probably scared him away.
Yeah, probably scared him away.
He's probably scared him
I
away.
do that all the time.
You
I
scare
get
people
who
away?
hate me. Yeah, they hate me.
Yeah.
But then then it's funny. They come back to me and go, you were so mean to me. You tell me to do this and not do that. And even though you were mean to me, I did it and it worked. So thank you. It happens all the time. And so even Joe will tell you that too. You were just talking about Joe. He'll tell you that too. Even Carrie. Carrie, same thing. When, a lot of times when Carrie was in the office going, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. I don't care. You're doing it anyway.
You're mean to me too. It's okay.
I know. I was mean to you too.
Yeah, you're always mean. You're mean to everybody.
I know.
Just kidding.
It's true though. But I make people be what they want to be, and that's my coaching style, which I think is which works. Like some people think I'm crazy, some people think it's wrong, some people think if I was nicer, but I don't know. All I know is that it works. That's all I care about.
I don't think it would work if you were nicer, to be honest.
Okay.
It's
so
not,
Christopher, you can call back if you want to. He said he tried to call. You can call back if you want to. All right, 855-939-1137. You can talk about anything. You can talk about real estate, but I got a funny story to tell you. Okay. I think I told this story the other day in class. So I had a person who I borrow money from.
Yes.
And I borrowed money from their IRA. So this is interesting. So for those of you who don't understand, when I buy properties, I don't borrow money from banks. I borrow money from individuals. So like last year or the year before, most people were getting 0.5% interest on their money in a bank, right? Now, I realize that you can get 3% now with a CD, which is a lot better than 0.5%.
I was really surprised. That guy was talking about CDs the other day about, I can get you 4% on a CD. Do you remember that? I thought that was really weird.
It's true because the interest rate is so high right now. So let's say 3.5% or 4%. That's great, but I would give somebody 7 or 8% on their money. And so the interesting part was, I had this guy who he lent me money on 2 properties for a really long time. One property I paid off, and it was about 5 years. He lent me money. I don't even know. I think it was 4 years. He lent me money on one, probably lent me $142,000 on one. He lent me $40,000 on another one, and I don't remember. I paid the $40,000 one off because I refinanced it, and then he had some dormant money, so sitting in his IRA, and he called me up the other day. He goes, "Hey, listen, I got to start taking RMDs, required minimum distributions,
right,
which is what you have to do when you hit 72. It's actually 72.5, which is really 73. So you have to start taking this money, and the government says, hey, no, you can't hide your money from us anymore."
Okay.
So I said, this is what you should do. You should take the money that I'm giving you, and you should take that as your RMD. This way, your IRA never goes down in value; it actually increases in value. And you take the RMD, and your IRA increases in value, and you always have security, and you have money to leave to your kids.
So wait, I lost you. So
Sure.
that you take money out of the IRA to.
So here's what happens. So let's say the RMD is $1,000 a month, just to make it easy, right?
Okay.
And I'm paying him $1,000 a month.
Oh, I see.
So he takes the RMD, goes into his IRA, and comes back out. He takes it out. He pays taxes on $1,000.
Okay.
But he doesn't pay taxes on the other money. And because it's a loan, and I continue to pay him every month, a guaranteed 7 or 8%, whatever the deal is.
Okay.
That money never goes down in his IRA. In fact, if I'm paying $1,100 and he's only taking $1,000, it's actually going up.
I got it.
Which is really awesome.
Okay.
So he called me about it, and I said, "Oh, by the way, I know you have some dormant money. How much dormant money do you have?" So he had about $90,000 dormant money, and the interesting part was remember the $40,000 I paid him back?
Yeah.
The $50,000, because he didn't have that $50,000 when we first started doing business about 4 years ago. That $50,000 was his profit.
Right.
So he now had $90,000 that was dormant money. I said, "You know what? Let me borrow some more money from you." Well, he freaks out. I know there's a couple of people on the line. Hold on, guys. I promise I'll get to you guys. I just want to finish this story. So he gets spooked. I don't know. Every once in a while, people are like, I don't know. Maybe this is a bad idea.
I think people think it's like too good to be true, because I had a friend who wanted to do something with her money, and then she's like, you know what? My son told me it's a bad idea, and I'm just like, do what's best for you.
Well, that's the biggest thing. The son who's broke.
The son who's
telling
broke.
the person who's broke that's a bad idea. So immediately, by the way, if you ever get advice from a broke person, look at them and go, "Thank you very much. Now I know exactly what not to do."
I know, but you have to kind of.
I understand that.
I know.
So anyway, he freaks out.
Yeah.
And I don't know. He calls Fidelity. He doesn't call me. He calls Fidelity. He goes, "I want to move all my money into Fidelity." Calls Fidelity. Now he doesn't understand that he's holding a mortgage of mine. He can't move that money anyway. I don't really care about the $90,000. I actually was doing him a favor borrowing it because it's sitting there dormant. I had to find a property to put it on, so I really didn't care if he didn't take the $90,000 from me. But he's all upset. He's for something, like I said, something spooked him.
Yeah.
And then of course he calls Fidelity, and of course the guy who's been a registered rep for a whole 6 months tells him that I'm ripping him off. I'm like, so I get on the phone, a 3-way call with him and the registered rep who's been there for a whole 6 months, and he's probably 21 years old. And by the way, I looked him up on LinkedIn. He worked in a pizzeria for 6 years, and he's worked at Fidelity for 6 months, so he knows more about pizza than he knows about money.
Wow.
But anyway, I get on the phone with him. I start talking. I go, listen, I said, I don't really care. You can't move to 142 because it's in a mortgage anyway. but the other 90, I'm about to give him 7% guaranteed every year for as long as for up to 10 years. And there's no fees on that. And I said, I'll be honest with you, if you could tell him another place where you can give him that or better with no fees, I think he should do it. And the guy got really mad and hung up.
Oh, he hung up
Well,
on
he
you?
didn't really hung up. He got nasty with me and then said, yeah, I think we're done here, kind of thing, you know?
Oh, wow. Okay.
You know, and whatever. So that's what it is. All right. So let's do this. Let me real quick. We got a couple of people online. I think we got Paul online. Paul, you still there?
Hey, you took too long with your story.
Yeah, but wasn't it a good story?
Hey,
I just
Paul.
wanted to say, because I called in just to say that I like that better too, but but that was like an hour ago now. So my
right.
call is completely irrelevant.
Well, yeah, all right, then
No,
forget
I'm
you,
always
Paul. We
gonna-
don't want to talk to you then.
Oh, Larry, how you doing?
Well, I'm good, Paul, but we're on the radio, so you might want to get to your point.
We love you, Paul.
All right.
So if anybody doesn't know,
I've
this is
made
Covered
lots
Call
of-
Paul, so who's an awesome
Cool.
piano player. Sorry,
And
go
we didn't
ahead.
teach him how to play piano either.
Actually,
did
I'm
we?
calling because Larry, I need your help moving a fridge. That's why I'm bringing a fridge.
So Paul's joking because nobody else knows.
Investor schooling.
Yeah, nobody else knows anything about Paul. He wants to move a refrigerator because he's about to rent his house because he's moving into another house. He's about to rent his house, so he needs to move his refrigerator. Which, by the way, you should have left the refrigerator in the house and gave it to the renter, but that's a whole other issue.
But I needed a fridge.
Well, no, this is a different refrigerator.
Oh, it's a different refrigerator.
I had
Okay.
2 refrigerators.
Oh, okay.
A renter doesn't need 2 refrigerators.
No, that's true. Well, it depends who you rent it to, I
Yeah.
guess. So, go ahead. Tell us your
I
investor
guess so,
schooling
but-
story, Paul.
I came to investor schooling in 2019, and now my net worth is like 4 times what it was. I had $10 in the bank, and now I have 40.
I hate when you do that.
No, it actually is 4 times, and it's a lot more than that. But
Yeah, it's very substantial from what you
everything-
told me. I know. That's great.
it's doing really well, and I just have to say thank you so much for that.
You're welcome, man.
So now I get to do all the things that I want to do. Just like
I know, you
play
really do all the
music
things
and
you
make
want to do.
movies and-
I got to tell you, Deb, there's something wrong with me. I work 80 hours
I
a
know,
week
I know.
to teach people how not to work 40 hours a week. What is wrong with me?
I know. I know. So you need to hire people.
I know. You're right.
I need to hire people.
All right. Help Wanted, sign one up right now.
Right,
you
but
go.
then he hires them and they learn a bunch of stuff and,
And then they-
leave and then do
yeah.
what they want.
Exactly.
That's what happens.
I hire
That's what
people and they leave because they're making so much money outside of what I was paying them.
Yeah.
And I pay people pretty well.
Right.
All right, Paul. We got somebody else on the line. I don't want to lose them. So thank you so much. I totally appreciate it. But real quick, you know what, Paul? Real quick, why don't you give yourself a plug for your piano playing?
Tonight I'll be at 118 North in Wayne, Pennsylvania. It's a late show because of the Eagles game, 10:30 to close. That's right on North Wayne Avenue, 118 North.
What's the
In
name?
Wayne,
What's the
PA.
name of the place?
118 North.
Oh, that's the name of the place.
Oh,
It's also the
Where's it located?
See how they did that? It's in Wayne, Pennsylvania. And then Wednesday and Friday next week, I'll be down in the Tropicana in Atlantic City at Gin Ricky's.
Awesome. Well, thanks, Paul. Totally appreciate it. All right, let's go
Rocking
to. Is Soli still there? Did we lose her?
She's there.
Oh, Soli, you there?
Yes, I'm here.
How are you?
Hello?
Yeah, how are you?
Hello? Yes, I'm good.
Awesome. How can we help
Thank
you?
you very much. How are you?
I'm great. How can we help you?
Okay, so I have an opportunity to purchase a home where the owner would be holding the note. So
Great.
therefore, I would essentially be financing through the owner.
Okay, great.
So the terms we've kind of worked on is I would be paying roughly about $50,000 every year.
So, how many
my plan
total
is
payments are
to-
you going to be making?
I guess over the years, so it's $325,000.
Okay,
So
okay.
it's 6.5 years about.
Okay, gotcha. Okay.
So my plan is to do a short-term rental with the house. Hopefully, over the course of the summer, I will make more than make the $50,000, and then whatever I rented for the remainder of the year, I would keep in my pocket. I just want to know if that's a good deal or is that a little too risky?
I think your expectation of making $50,000 a year is insane. You're not going to make $50,000 a year as a rental. I mean, if you were buying this for $50,000 a year and you had plans to pay that $50,000 another way, it would be a great deal. But if you think you're gonna get
Right.
$50,000 rental income, you're not.
No. Short-term rentals, like Airbnb.
I understand. Where's the
I
property
did it already
located?
last year?
Where's the property located?
It is in a shore town.
So you're only getting rent for
Like 3 or 4 months.
3 or 4 months.
Yeah.
And how much have you figured that each week you're gonna get?
Okay, so in the 3 or 4 months, I could make about no, it's not 3 or 4 months. It's more like 4 to 5
Okay.
from where we are. But then the remainder of the year, I could do the travel nurses. I did this already in the last year that I was just renting the place from him, and it did work.
You got $50,000.
Yeah, over the year, yes.
Well, if you got it, then you proved me wrong. If you can continue to do it, then it's a good plan. I just skeptical of whether you're going to get $50,000 a year. If you are, it's a fantastic plan. In fact, if you're getting $50,000 a year and you're buying that property for $325,000, I want you on the show and you can take it over because that's genius.
I'm actually meeting with you. I'm meeting with you next month.
That's great.
I spoke to your people yesterday, so I am
awesome.
meeting with you next month. So
Yeah, I mean,
I can lay that plan out for you.
That's all. You know, I was teasing you a little bit, right? But if you're really getting $50,000,
I know.
That's fantastic. I would love to see that, and if that's true, I'd love to have you stand up in front of the class and tell everybody how you did it, because that's great. I'm just a little skeptical about you getting the $50,000, but if you are, then I think you've got an incredible deal because in your 6th and 7th and 8th year, you're pure profit.
Right. Okay. All right. Thank you.
Cool. Looking forward to finding out more about you and seeing you whenever it is that we have an appointment with. Awesome. All right.
Okay. Awesome.
All right. For everybody else out there, if you want to learn this stuff, go to investorschooling.com. Investorschooling.com. My name is Larry Steinhouse. I am the CEO of Investor Schooling. I'm here with Dr. Deb, who's our senior student liaison, and we just have fun. We're just having a blast here. It's investorschooling.com. I'll tell you what, Tammy, why don't you take us to a commercial, and when we come back, we'll talk some more. This is Larry Steinhouse with Investor Schooling. Are you afraid of the Great Reset? Well, the Great Reset won't apply to those who own real assets. At Investor Schooling, we teach you how to own real assets like real estate, gold, silver, and other investments, including stocks, stock options, and even the basics of cryptocurrency. We even teach you how to pay thousands less in taxes legally. So go to investorschooling.com and find out how you can attend a complimentary class this Thursday. Investorschooling.com. This is Larry Steinhouse, and you have probably heard my radio shows and listened to my great advice on how you can make more money and pay less taxes. Well, I just finished writing a book on all things I teach at Investor Schooling and on my radio shows. This book is called Money Hacks, and you want a copy of this book, and you can pre-order this book wherever books are sold. Look for Money Hacks by Larry Steinhouse. Hey, it might even be a tax deduction. Order Money Hacks by Larry Steinhouse wherever books are sold, and come see me at Investor Schooling. This is Larry Steinhouse from Investor Schooling. Are you tired of being broke? If you're tired of being broke, go to investorschooling.com, sign up for a complimentary class this Thursday, and learn how not to be broke. That's right, go to investorschooling.com and sign up for a complimentary class this Thursday. And if you have any questions, you can call us at 215-876-3002, 215-876-3002. Go to investorschooling.com, sign up for this Thursday, and learn how not to be broke. Investorschooling.com. This is Larry Steinhouse from Investor Schooling, and I'm so excited when our students do well. Listen to this student and listen to what he has to say about Investor Schooling.
I sold one of my properties last October, doubled my money, and what I did, I invested into another property and then closed on a refi, and I wrote myself a check out for $118,000.
That's awesome. I'm so excited. And if you want to find out more about Investor Schooling, go to investorschooling.com, and we will see you Thursday night, and we will help you any way we can. This is Larry Steinhouse with Investor Schooling. Are you tired of the Biden economy? Do you want to learn how to thrive in the Biden economy? Because we're going to teach you that this Thursday night at Investor Schooling. So go to investorschooling.com and sign up for a complimentary class this Thursday night and learn how to thrive in the Biden economy. You can also call us at 215-876-3002, 215-876-3002. Tell me you're tired of inflation. Investorschooling.com. We will see you Thursday. This is Larry Steinhouse with Investor Schooling. The opportunity to retire with a great big real estate portfolio is coming quickly, and you want to learn how to do it.
Back after this.
Corner. What does that mean to you? You need to learn how to take advantage of this opportunity, like how to buy discounted properties with absolutely no money out of your pocket. Can it be done? Yes, it can. Can you learn how to do it? Yes, you can. Go to investorschooling.com and find out how you can attend a complimentary class this Thursday. investorschooling.com. All right, everybody. Welcome back to Investor Schooling Live. I am Larry Steinhouse. I am the CEO of Investor Schooling, and I'm here with Dr. Deb.
Hey, everybody. How you doing?
Dr. Deb is just so cool. She's the smartest person I know. I say that all the time, and nobody believes me.
I don't know.
I'm telling you, she's the smartest person I know. It's pretty awesome. She well, first of all, if she's got a PhD, she's got to be smart.
You know, I've met some PhDs that are not so smart, so I don't know. But have they gone through the
I've met a lot of real estate investors who can't add 2 + 2.
Yeah.
So you don't need to be smart to invest in real estate. You actually just need to have the desire and learn how to do it.
It's that grit thing, you know. It's
Absolutely.
that grit and drive and all
Absolutely.
that. Yeah.
So what do you think about investing in real estate? What do you think? What is your actual thought of investing in real estate?
I wish I did it sooner.
Isn't that amazing?
I wish I did it sooner. Yeah, I really wish I did it sooner. And it was interesting because I remember learning about tax deeds 20 years ago. Like when I used to work in a hospital lab for, 16 years, insanely long time. And I remember learning about it back then. I was reading a book and and I had somebody who was willing to invest with me if I did all the work. And then I'm like, this isn't going to work. And I just kind of blew it off, you know? And then 20 years later, I get this thing in the mail and I'm like, oh my God, this thing is still around. So now I have a bunch of properties and I wish I did it sooner. You know what I mean? I just wish I did it sooner.
So when everybody says that, because people right now, they're in their 60s, even their 70s, and they're listening to the show right now, and they're saying, oh, you see, I can't do it now. No, that's not actually the opposite.
No, because I was in my early 20s and I would have been well past you right now.
Oh, that's okay with me. But, remember, I lost everything in 2008, so
Right.
so that makes sense. But at the same time, you can do it any time.
Yeah.
We've had people come to us, 65, 70 years old, buy their first property, and make tons of money. We've had people buy trailer parks and make tons of money. We have one student, we tell the story often, bought 2 trailer parks worth about $2 million.
Yeah.
And he did it. He never owned a house. I mean, he owned his own house. That was it. That's all he ever owned his entire life. Now he owns 2 trailer parks. We got a couple of partnerships in the office doing that as well. So it's kind of neat to how people come here. I just love it. Like even Carrie was on the air a little while ago talking about her thing. By the way, if you want to give us a call, 855-939-1137, 855-939-1137. Call us about anything. Call us about money. Call us about the stock market. Call us about if you have questions on the economy or buying your own house or whatever it is. 855-939-1137, 855-939-1137. One more time, 855-939-1137. I just wanted to interrupt you because I knew you were about to talk.
Well, no, I was thinking that I'm redoing a kitchen at one of my places, and I like that I don't have to pay for it because it's all coming out of the rental income. It's all rental income that goes into an account. So,
Sure.
So I think it's $1,000 for the cabinets and $2,000 for them. It's a tiny kitchen. So, and I'm not paying for any of it. It's all renter money that's paying for it. And that's, I think, what I like the best about everything. It's because it's not coming out of my pocket. It's coming out of some, it is, but technically, really, it's not because I never put out any money. Somebody else gave me money to stay there. And then, so that's what I love the most. Or if I have to put
real
something
estate
in
is
or.
so neat, isn't it?
Yeah, it's great that way.
It's one of the neatest things, all because of that. Hey, let's say we get Gary on the line. Hey, Gary, I'm hoping this is the Gary I think it is. Gary, come on, what's going on, man?
Hey, it is the Gary you think it is.
Good.
How you doing, buddy?
I got to tell you why I was hoping it was you. Wait, I got to ask you a question. You're not going to believe what I'm about to open.
No, you're telling me ice cream?
Yup. It's very funny because I've been thinking about you lately. So I have a property in Easton, Pennsylvania, right? It's a commercial property. Used to be a pizzeria, really small. It's 270 square feet, right? And I'm going to open an ice cream store. And it was funny. I was thinking about you lately because you hadn't called in a long time. It's been about a year since you called in. And we had the whole conversation about you selling your ice cream place, blah, blah, blah.
Oh.
So I'll bet you are a great person as a resource to find out about ice cream stores.
anything for you, Larry. I'm serious.
I appreciate
Anything
that.
for
Thank
you.
you.
We can meet.
Yeah.
I'll come up there. I'll help you. And as simple as that's what friends are for.
I appreciate that. And just so you guys know, people are listening, so Gary is not a student. He just happened to call in several times into the show and asked me questions about whether he should sell his property. I gave him some really good advice. He sold his property, and he did really well with it. And then he called me up and thanked me for the advice I gave him. I don't want to get into the advice because it was some of it was personal, but he thanked me for the advice. So, but now, real quick, you have a question, and what we'll do is you have my number, I know. So give me a call, and we'll get together. But what is your question now?
Okay. Yes. My question is estate planning. Number one, you taught put everything in trust,
Correct.
which is fine.
Correct.
Now, the amount is the threshold for the estate like $625,000, or did the state or the IRS bump it up?
Wait, are you talking about when it's taxable?
Yes.
It's something like $12 million.
So they raised it.
No, they raised it.
They
It was
raised it
it was
from
never.
600
It wasn't less than $1 million since I don't know, since I was a teenager, I think.
Well, for some reason, I'm thinking 625,000.
No.
Is
No, it's
no.
Are you ready? It's 12.92 million. But that's federal.
All right. Well, listen.
So that's federal. Now,
listen, Sultan.
Yes.
Listen, Sultan. I did not make that much, and I'm happy for what I made.
Gary.
Greed and fear.
Wait. Okay, hold on.
Greed and fear.
No, I'm confused. When you say make that much, so if you have $12.92 million and you leave it to somebody, they don't have to pay state tax. But when you say didn't make that much, maybe you're not talking about a state tax. Maybe you're talking about something else.
Well, I'm talking about taxes in general, okay? I want to defer the taxes.
Okay.
I want to defer the taxes. So we have the real estate, the home, we put it in trust. So there's a 5-year look back.
Right.
Everybody knows the 5-year look back with Medicaid. So we're trying to avoid that.
Right. I teach this all the time.
And that's the purpose
Exactly.
of the That's the purpose of the call. For some reason, I thought it was 625,000. I don't know.
I'm not sure what you might have that mixed up with something else. Like the 625,000 number doesn't make sense to me, so I can't try to figure out what you're asking.
Okay.
Maybe if I knew exactly what you're asking, I could find out what you're doing. But it's fine. Either way, you're fine. Look,
Well,
you can, go ahead.
Basically, like you taught everybody, defer. We use the word defer, not avoid. Defer. So if we do a trust, a catch-up or a revocable trust, or there's another trust where I like to defer the funds. So I think trust is where I should go with the resources. And God forbid something does happen to me or my wife, since you know she's been sickly, it would go to the trustee or the beneficiary.
Right, the beneficiary. Yeah, so there's a whole bunch of stuff. So estate planning, like, I know a lot about estate planning. I have conversations with estate planning attorneys and teach them things, which is really funny. But at the same time, like, we teach people to buy houses in trusts, but I don't cross the line too far because I'm not an attorney, so I can't, first of all, it's practicing without a license, so I can't do it anyway. But I also want to be sure that I always say, defer to your estate planning attorney. I even have somebody I recommend. But the reason I do that is because I don't want to make a mistake because I didn't ask you a certain question or something that they should be asking, which they don't anyway. But that way, I don't want you to come back and go, oh, well, Larry told me to do this, and that's why this happened, and now I got to sue Larry. So we don't practice. We teach the basics, and then we suggest that you go and talk about it with your attorney. Now, one-on-one appointments, I may suggest that these are the things you ask your attorney, or things you say to your attorney. And it's funny because they come, my students come back to me and go, the attorney said no one's ever asked that question before, and it was a really good question. I'm like, yeah, I know. Why aren't people asking this question? And why isn't the attorney telling you to ask the question? I always find that interesting too. And then people mess it up. Now, what you did, because I think you heard it on the radio several times, was you're avoiding. So you're getting up there in age. You're older than me, haha, and you're getting up there in age, and you don't want the state, or you don't want the government to take your money, and when you go, if you happen to go into a nursing home, which is brilliant, And the best way to do that is to move the ownership of whatever you own somewhere else, and a trust is a great place to move the ownership. And that's what we teach in investor schooling. That's another thing that we teach. But Gary, do me a favor, man. Give me a call. Not today, obviously, because I'm crazy busy. But give me a call today, the next, even tomorrow, and you and I will talk. We'll set up a time. We'll get together. I appreciate your help on this project.
Yes.
And you want to know why I'm opening it?
Thank you.
You want to know why I'm opening the ice cream store?
No.
Because my
What?
really bad. No, he's actually really good. My property manager in Lehigh Valley. I promised. I actually said to him 6 months ago. I had this place, and like I said, a 270 square foot restaurant, and it's always been rented since I've owned the property. I owned this property for 13 years. It's always been rented, and the last year, the last tenant moved out, and I threatened my property manager that if he didn't put somebody in there soon, I was going to open an ice cream store. So I gave him till December 31st, and he didn't do it. So now I got to open an ice cream store.
Okay, that's fine, Larry. We'll do it. No problem.
So you can find me on Facebook too. I've been posting about that as well.
Okay.
All right, Gary, appreciate you. Thanks so much. All right, if anybody else wants to call in, we got about 10 more minutes. 855-939-1137. 855-939-1137. It's funny, I have fans now on the radio.
I know, it's awesome.
It's just so cool.
So he said something I think you should explain. He said something about the 5-year look back. I think you should explain that.
Yeah, sure. Okay, this is actually a good point, right? So a lot of people, they get up in age, and then all of a sudden they're faced with an illness.
Right.
And they go, oh no, I own all this money and all this stuff, and I wanted to go to my kids, but I'm about to die in 2 years, because let's say they got cancer, whatever, they feel they may die, and now they're like, oh, maybe I'll go to a estate planner now and figure out how I can keep the money from the government. Well, you can't.
Right.
So the government has gotten wise, and they've said, hey, look, if you realize you're sick, it's too late. You can't move your stuff. So you need to move your stuff at least 5 years before you die. Now, you don't know the day you're going to die. I mean, you could walk out tomorrow and get hit by a truck, and you're dead. Right? Now, assuming something happens, now let's not even say, let's say you become paraplegic, not get hit by it, not die, because if you die, it doesn't matter. Your money goes to somewhere else. But if you get, I know this is a terrible conversation.
I know. I'm thinking, what are you saying?
I know it's a terrible conversation, but you have to go into a nursing home, or you have to go into assisted care living, right?
Yeah.
And they want to be paid.
Yeah.
And the first thing they do is they look at your assets and they say, hey, how much money do you have? And you have 2, 3, 4, 5 million. Maybe it's in real estate. Maybe it's in the stock market. Maybe it's wherever. And they go, we want that money first. We're going to take that money, and then if you live long enough, then the government's going to come in and pay for it. So if you go into a nursing home, or you go into an assisted living care situation, and you have no money, guess where they go first? The government.
Yeah.
So if these things are not titled in your name, your houses, your money, anything, if it's not titled in your name, the government can't take it. So now you wake up one day and you go, hey, I'm sick. I'll move my stuff into a trust. I'll move my stuff into my kid's name, whatever it may be.
Yeah.
The problem is the government looks back 5 years. So if you moved, let's say you sold your $1 million property to your kid, and I don't care, you sold it to him for $1, which don't do that either. That's another problem. But let's say you sold it to him for $1, right? Then the government looks back and they go, and you go into a nursing home, they look back and they go, wait a minute, 2 years ago you sold this $1 million property to your kid. We need you to pay $1 million of your nursing. It's a formula, but we need to pay, just for example, we need to pay you $1 million of your nursing home before we'll pay a cent. Okay. Now you're in real trouble. And I'll tell you, you're in bigger trouble than you were before, because now if your son says, sorry, I'm not going to pay that nursing home, you sold me this, nah, you're literally on the street.
Yeah.
And it's a really bad idea to do this wrong. So you want to make sure that you do it correctly. And, investor schooling, we touch on it. We talk about it. We talk about trusts all the time. We talk about owning properties in trusts. How many properties do I own, Deb?
None.
Why? Because every one of my properties is owned in a trust. And I'm the trustee on the trust, and that is the greatest thing you could ever do, is be the trustee. You control the properties. I don't even own the house I live in, which is pretty wild.
Yeah, I actually put my personal home into a trust, so I don't own it anymore either.
There you go.
So,
Beautiful.
Yeah.
So now you could, now if something happens to you and you're not the smartest person that I know anymore, you could still.
I believe in inverse paranoia, where the world is trying to make you happy and successful.
No, I agree. I actually agree with you. I believe the world is trying to make me happy. I believe that I can have anything I want. I mean, this is something I teach too. It's a mindset thing.
Yeah.
Anybody listening right now, if there's anything in the entire world you really want, not, oh, it'd be kind of sort of nice if I had a Porsche, that's not the same thing.
Yeah.
But if something you really want, something you really desire, I guarantee you will get it. And I use the example of a heroin addict all the time.
Yeah.
So you talk about a heroin addict, and I make the statement, and I always have to be careful when I make the statement because I don't want to insult anybody, but I make the statement that if you want something, I mean really want it, act like a heroin addict on that topic. If you want that hotel or you want that beachfront property, if you act like a heroin addict for that beachfront property, you become a beachfront property addict, guess what? You will own that property. You will figure it out. I don't care how it's going to happen, but you'll figure it out.
Yeah.
So when you have that desire, it'll be yours. I've seen that happen, manifest in my life several times, where there's something I want. We're sitting in a studio right now that I built, that I said I wanted to have a couple of years ago, many years ago, when we first started doing the radio. I was going to build a studio, and we're sitting in it. It manifested itself.
Yeah.
So here it is.
You need to get the boat. You still haven't gotten the boat.
So it's funny. So the boat, you're right, because what Deb's talking about, my first book, which was If I Won $25 Million in the Lottery, a book about money, hope, and happiness, which
you wrote it a couple months after you went bankrupt.
Yeah, I actually wrote how I was going to recover from my bankruptcy in that book. It's a really interesting book.
Yeah.
And I've had students come back to me, read it, and say, hey, you've done everything you said you were going to do in this book except buy the boat.
Yeah.
And it's funny because I'm looking for the beachfront, not the beachfront, the waterfront property with a dock before I can buy the boat. So I just haven't found the property I want yet.
Okay.
So I can't look for a boat yet. Because I don't want a boat. I don't want to have a boat in a dock that I have to drive to. Because you know what will happen, right?
Yeah.
You'll never
get on
the
use
boat.
it. Yeah.
Because I barely, when I had my motorcycle, I barely took that out of the garage. So now it's something else. Now I want to wait for the beach, the waterfront property that I want that has a dock that I can put the boat on. So I haven't really found the one I want. We look and then not that one, not that one, not that one. And when that happens, then I'll buy the boat. But it'll happen.
Yeah.
It'll happen.
No, I have no doubt.
Yeah, exactly. Cool.
No doubt.
Maybe when I sell Gary my ice cream store after I get it up and running, he'll go, oh, I got to get back into this business. He wants to buy the ice cream store.
I like the idea of the subscription. I think that's interesting.
Yeah, that was an interesting thing. So this is something I'm floating around, was having a subscription. Like, you see these car washes with the subscription?
Yeah.
With it, you can come any day you want. Now, most people don't go every day. And I'm going to do a subscription. I'm thinking $37 for a medium ice cream cone, soft serve ice cream cone.
Okay.
You can have one a day. Now, some people will get 30 a month, and some people will get 5 a month. And if they get 5 a month, they broke even anyway.
Yeah.
But if they get less, more. But here's the thing: it's a guaranteed income. So I'm going to try it. I'm going to see.
I think it's a neat idea. I never would have thought about it, but it makes a lot of sense, and I think it's a neat idea.
And then I posted it on one of the websites in the area, and I got about a 50-50 return. Like, people said, I'd never do it. And other people said, wow, that's a great idea. And then I had people say, well, if I have a family of 4, that's a lot of money.
Yeah.
And I said, well, what if I had a family of 4 discount? Well, maybe it's $59 for 4 subscriptions, all of the same household. Where, maybe that would work. I don't know, but we'll have to see it. It's something I'm definitely working on. By the way, Sal online says, hi, Larry and Deb.
Hey, Sal.
Hey, Sal. Another one of our great students, also doing some great stuff as well. So we got about 3 more minutes. What should we talk about in 3 minutes?
Do you have to do your stock option thing or
We
no?
got to do this. We don't have to. It's funny. We haven't done it in a long time, so I really haven't talked about stock options in a really long time. But I'll tell you what, the stock market, let's talk about the stock market real quick. So the stock market right now is around 33,000, and I don't think it's going to go much higher than 34,000, and I think it's going to drop. I think this, just for you guys who are into the stock market, I think that this January, the end of this January, so we got 2 more weeks into February, and that will be the end of earnings season, and that will be the last time we're going to see numbers like 34,000 in the Dow. For a while. I mean, obviously we'll see it again. For a while. It might be a year, it might be 18 months before we see those numbers, but we're definitely going to do it. We'll definitely be able to...
The foreign companies, okay.
Really, my wife says the pharmaceutical companies who make diabetes medicine will love your subscription ice cream plan. Really? That's what my wife puts on Facebook.
Are you kidding? She's right. They'll probably promote it.
Yeah, they probably will love it, but really, that's probably not appropriate. My goodness.
It's all good.
I'm hoping she's laughing right now and realizes we're just poking fun. But yeah, but that's true. They probably will. They'll get.
They had Paula Dean on for like diabetes and stuff.
You know what we should do? We should have the ice cream subscription, and right next to it, we should have the diabetes pills. But I can't believe I'm having this conversation. But listen, all you people listening, just Retract that last remark. I
There
mean,
you go.
seriously?
Well, we're gonna have you're gonna have wafer cones and sugar cones, right?
Wafer cones, sugar cones, waffle cones.
You're gonna have them like dipped in chocolate and stuff.
Oh, of course.
Oh, there we go.
Listen, if there's sugar involved, we're going to have it.
There you go.
Some people have asked me to make sure I have sugar-free ice cream. Have you ever tried sugar-free ice cream?
No, but I
don't
wouldn't
think I've
want
ever
to.
done it either.
Yeah, I don't think it's worth it. You know,
No, I
might
don't
as
think
well.
it's worth it either.
If you're gonna get ice cream, you might as well enjoy it.
Well, that's true. You know, it's funny because, some people give up certain foods.
Yeah, but if you're gonna do it, just enjoy it. I
Yeah,
think,
right. You might
know?
as well just, yeah, right. So,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
here's the other thing, too, that I've been doing. I've been doing a lot of ice cream research lately.
Right.
Which means that I'm getting fatter and fatter.
I think when you open up this ice cream shop, we're all going to get fatter and fatter. So, you know, I think the one saving grace is that's a little bit far for me. So,
Right. So real quick, I think we got about a minute left, but real quick. So guys, on the stock market, like I said, it's going to, we have probably another 2 or 3 weeks of a good stock market, and then it's going to start to tank. We'll start to see a slight recession, if not the signs of a real recession. The other thing too that we're going to lose is we're going to lose the real estate market is going to start going down in spring. Like, this will be the last year that you'll probably get the numbers that your house is worth right now, and then it'll start to go down. So just keep that in mind as well. Look, if you guys want to come to investor schooling, you want to learn how to do this stuff, you want to learn how to do notes, you want to learn how to borrow money from people, you want to learn how to buy properties and make money on them the day you buy them, come to investor schooling. Go to investorschooling.com. Sign up for a free class. We have a complimentary class this Thursday, and we're going to be talking some good stuff. We were talking some great stuff the other day. That was awesome.
Yeah, it was
And
good
by the way,
class,
you know
yeah.
where I'm going real quick? I'm going to the Real Estate Expo in King of Prussia. I meant to talk about that, but I didn't get a chance to. So if you guys are in King of Prussia today, I want to be at the Real Estate Expo. Go to investorschooling.com. Sign up for a free class. Dr. Deb, thank you so much. I want to thank Henry over at WPHT. Thank you so much, too. And we will see you on Thursday.
This program is paid for by Investor Schooling. All opinions or statements expressed on the program are solely those of Investor Schooling or their guests and do not reflect the opinions of WPHT or Odyssey.